just I guess two super quick factors that I want to add in that I'm not sure have been discussed. The first thing is parents, as I said. So I think one part of the problem is parents raising their children with marriage, with like various thoughts on marriage and preconceived notions that the kids grow up with. Either sometimes it's indirectly, if you grow up seeing your parents' marriage and it's a disaster and you can see them screaming and having like screaming matches across the dinner table, or like in their room you can hear them yelling at each other and like name calling and cussing, you know, that's the reality for some people. And the parents are not careful to like act in a certain way because they know the kids can hear them and they really shouldn't be name calling in the first place, right? But that's the reality. So the parents indirectly will affect their kids' view of marriage and their understanding of what marriage should be and how it works. And so those kids grow up and they want nothing to do with marriage. They're like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do my degrees and rack up different degrees, because the last thing I want to do is like go back to what I finally was able to escape from, which is my parents' insane marriage, right? So there's that, and then that's indirect. But I think there's a direct influence too that parents have, which is just to kind of tell their kids, and especially their daughters from a young age, honey, you need to do your PhD. حبيبتي انت تعملي الماجستير تخلصي الكلية وتعملي الماجستير وتعملي الدكتوراه. All right, this is what Arabs say. حبيبتي, you're gonna do your college, then you're gonna do your magister, your masters, and then you're gonna do doctorate, your doctorate. You're gonna do your PhD. And the girl is like, okay, that sounds good. That's a good list. And she like follows that list like it's doctrine. And that's just the parents' like own biases and their own like experiences and their own baggage and their own hem coming up from their childhood and all their complexes and like unresolved like things, you know? So the girl will, especially, and again, I'm speaking for some women, not all women, so don't get mad. Some women, this is exactly the case. And so they grow up thinking, this is my path. It's like my parents have always drilled it into my head. And sometimes it's fear. It's parents are scared because they don't want their daughter to go through any pain in terms of dunya. They don't want her to rely on a man who may forsake her or may betray her in some way. So she's going to fend for herself. They're going to make sure of it. So the girl does, but then she doesn't get married. Guess what? That's the result, right? So parents, I feel like, play a big role also, or they can, sometimes. And the other thing that I want, are you taking a call right now?
No.
Okay, one last thing that comes to mind is not understanding gender roles or not agreeing with gender roles. I feel like, this is a whole can of worms, and we did like a video on gender roles before, but I really think that one thing that some people don't want to get married because of is this, like, especially if you're a Western Muslim who's grown up and was raised in the West, and you've seen, like, you've like got hit with this feminism stuff and it's like poisoned your mind. You'll just be like, look, I'm Muslim, alhamdulillah, but I'm fine with it, but I just don't want to enter marriage because I know it's going to require things of me that I'm very uncomfortable with, and I'm just not ready to do. I'm not ready to submit to a husband. No thank you. Like, I'm fine on my own. And for men, even sometimes I'm not ready to provide for a woman and kids. Like, no, like, the whole individualistic thing comes up again, and we don't want to. But this point specifically is about gender roles, like not understanding them and not wanting to comply with them because we're too busy like having fun,